You are listening to Vitruvian Man with Jesse and Josh.
Welcome back to Season 3 of Vitruvian Man. And as usual, I am joined by Manila, the Thrilla. The townspeople call him the fucking Godzilla. It's Josh.
The goddamn gorilla.
That's right. Don't you forget it.
What's happening, my man?
Season 3. So we have missed a little time, like 3 or 4 weeks, but life happens.
It's been a while.
Been a while. I watched the Pee Wee documentary on
I saw
HBO.
that pop
Did you
up.
see it?
No, is it good?
It's great.
Oh, man, I love Pee Wee.
It's amazing. Yeah, it's great.
That one still kind of hurts. Stings a little bit.
Yeah. Which part? Do you mean his
Him
arrest?
dying.
His dying. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, his arrest was bullshit. That was fucking stupid.
So Pee Wee gets arrested for supposedly exposing himself in a porn theater, right?
What year was that? That was like in the mid-90s?
Something like that.
Yeah.
But he gets arrested, and you and cry immediately. Sam Kinison. They show Sam Kinison saying basically that he's a reprobate and shouldn't be allowed around kids. Sam Kinison probably snorted coke off a hooker's ass several times. I mean, that's probably the least of the things he did.
My guess is that Kinison did coke off of somebody's dick.
Yeah, but I mean, like,
absolutely.
Just the thought of someone like Kinison judging
Kinison, dude.
Pee Wee, like, oh my god,
him talking about an actual fucking talent, right? I mean, Kinison, all he did was yell.
Were you obviously some people like him. I don't care.
Were you a fan of him? Like back in the old days?
I liked it as a kid. He'd show up in that Rodney Dangerfield movie, Back to School, where he plays that professor.
That was probably
it's kind
his
of
best thing.
People say he kind of ripped off. Was it Bill Hicks? Someone they say he was derivative, but I don't know.
Yeah, I just never just the yelling.
No, but I mean, even if I was a fan, just
to
sit in judgment of someone for that. Pee Wee later had a prosecution for obscenity. He had a large collection of male nude slides and magazines and all adults.
Well, you know what happened. So he got caught up in the sweep with that fucking guy. I can't remember his name. You know who I'm talking about?
Another star?
It was another star. He was the principal, or I think the principal in Ferris Bueller.
Oh, yes, that's right. And he was a sex offender, apparently.
He was a fucking pedo.
He had child porn.
He had child porn.
He was
a straight up pedo.
Yes.
And they fucking, because they knew each other, they went after Pee Wee.
There was a witness that said they saw something in Pee Wee's house. It's a complete lie.
Bullshit. Yeah. Fuck that. And fuck that guy.
Yeah, no kidding.
Whatever happened, he straight up disappeared, I guess.
Yeah. Did he go to jail?
I don't know.
I mean, he was guilty, apparently. So.
Oh, no, he was
a bad person.
One of his other crimes was being in Howard the Duck.
I want to see that. How Did This Get Made? The podcast I love to watch or listen to. They did that movie.
Have you ever seen it?
No, it's supposed to be amazing.
Oh, it's awful. It is.
Yeah.
Fucking
George Lucas.
Spielberg, Lucas. It was somebody. It was somebody.
George.
I don't remember. I really don't remember. So it was somebody. It was somebody who knew better.
Have we talked about the fact that George Lucas is a terrible director? So George Lucas is a visionary artist, right? As far as his vision of the things that they came up with, George Lucas directed 1 or 2 Star Wars movies, right? He directed the first one, and then Kirshner comes in for the second and third, which are regarded as the best. But anyway, you look at those those prequels 1, 2, and 3, awfully directed, just horrible. So. All right, that's a tangent. How about that for a tangent?
Well, that's what we thrive on.
Speaking of awful, we had a pretty awful season 2. That wasn't fun, going over the power behind Trump. But this hasn't really started out that great either. Season 3 starts out with a bang.
Yeah, this was kind of rough
with these influencers. Yeah.
Yeah.
So today we're talking
health influencers.
The health influencers. Now, the main guys that I was studying was Andrew Tate, and the Liver King.
Yeah.
And I'm forgetting the third guy's name.
Andrew Huberman.
Right, exactly. So did you kind of cloister around one guy specifically a lot, or did you just kind of dole it out evenly? Or
for
your research?
For my research this period, it was mostly for Liver King and Huberman.
Right.
Tate. Tate's record speaks for itself.
I watched a Vice documentary about Tate. Holy fucking shit.
Yeah, he's a really bad man.
A terrible person.
Yeah.
Definitely a rapist. Has raped
Absolutely.
several women. Has gone to jail for sex trafficking.
I mean, he is like not in a cool, groovy way, but he is an actual fucking pimp. Like, you know,
Yes.
not like the Mac, not
Yes.
like fucking, you know, Shaft,
An actual pimp.
but an actual fucking horror show of a pimp.
Do you want to do Tate first, or who did you want to do first?
I mean, we can kind of mix it all up, but let's start with that piece of shit.
So I have a couple quotes from Andrew Tate.
Oh God.
If every man had a sword, the world's problems would be fixed. Now that's a really stupid thing to say. It's just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
He said, so the guy from Vice, who was very polite, said something about the controversy surrounding Tate and how does Tate answer the charges. And Tate says, there are a lot of videos online edited together to make me look bad.
Yeah,
Bro,
right.
bro, everything you fucking say looks bad. Every scintilla out of his mouth is fucking horrible. You know, one of the women he raped, he sent her voice texts that prove he raped her, and she still couldn't get anyone to prosecute him.
Where was that? Was that in
It was
England?
like one of his victims he'd sent really threatening messages to.
Actually ended up, they took it seriously, but it wasn't for years
Right.
that they took it seriously,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
So I had a quick Maslow quote. So Abraham Maslow, you know, those who know him know the hierarchy of needs. He actually coined a phrase I think has been used a million times and attributed to many people, but Maslow wrote, "It is tempting, if the only tool you have is a hammer, to treat everything as though it were a nail."
Yeah.
Tate is a hammer who sees the world as a violent, horrific place where you have to take care of yourself because no one ever will. And basically that all these things can be solved with violence.
So, do you think that he? Do you think that he actually believes that, or do you think that? Because I mean, he's got what is it?
You don't even think he's sincere in that belief?
Well, I don't know, and
Yeah.
that was like an actual like a serious question.
Yeah.
It wasn't me being
Totally.
leading. I'm just asking questions. It wasn't
You know,
anything like that.
I mean, like we talked a lot about survivalism, like, you know, where a few hundred years ago, violence and manliness were absolutely kind of required, both in men and women, right? That strength and fortitude were required for survival.
To survive, for sure.
And now with so many societies being safe, mostly to live in, you know, the thought that violence, I mean, basically the things he says about women, I mean, he's not even abashed about hating women, about seeing them as objects. When asked about one of his rape victims, Tate called her ugly.
Right.
And it's like, you didn't even say you didn't rape her. You just said she's so ugly, I would never rape her.
Well, I mean, Trump said the same fucking thing.
Of course.
You know, I mean,
of course.
these people. I guess this idea is pretty much a dime a dozen these days. It's just fucking out
Right.
there as regular fucking discourse.
Tate and his minions would have you believe that rape isn't a thing, actually.
Yeah. What's the name of his online university?
Oh, are we talking about the War Room, or is that different?
No, that's Bannon. War Room. Is
Well, no,
Bannon.
but there's also, Tate has this ridiculous like fight camp. And it was something like the War Room, where you and I are gonna show up there with no training and fight MMA.
I did
athletes.
read an article about somebody who went to that, and it was ridiculous.
I mean, he's trying to shame this guy into doing it, and he goes, "No one's gonna get knocked out. We have an ambulance." Well, first of all, if you have an ambulance,
that doesn't mean you're not going to get
that
knocked
means
out.
someone did definitely get knocked out when this Vice reporter was there.
So was that a documentary?
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe I read the companion piece of that,
Okay.
or maybe it was somebody else that went to it. But like, basically, it was a bunch of really inexperienced people going in there and flailing around.
Right.
But nobody, like, there was no training. There was nothing like that. Maybe a couple, maybe, half hour, 45 minutes of like showing basic punches, things
Yeah.
like that. But it was just a fucking grift.
Yeah.
Pure
absolutely.
grift. There was no, like, I could get into going to something where you're actually training to fight, but that's not what this is.
You've tried boxing.
Yeah.
I would absolutely try that.
Yeah.
Definitely. That sounds like fun.
Like, it's fun. Yeah.
And you're learning self-defense. You're not getting pummeled by an actual professional.
And people are there to actually train you.
Yes.
It's not about fucking watching fucking couple of dongs getting in there smacking each other around. Like, it's just so bad. But anyway, yeah. So
It's crazy.
I can't remember. It's got some stupid fucking initials. I'll look it up because it is worth knowing what it is.
Absolutely. So yeah, Tate. The funny thing is, we've talked a lot about over these last couple seasons about Americans love facile answers to difficult questions.
Yeah.
It's probably not just Americans. It's probably human beings in general, which explains religion, right? It's a facile answer to a very complex question. What happens when we die? Religion.
Yeah.
A lot of these influencers,
God,
they
fucking hate that word so much.
They
now.
make their bones based on people's quest for easy answers. It's like, are you sad and pathetic and terrible about your job and don't have a woman? Get ripped.
Right.
That'll solve your problems.
Almost all of these things function under a kernel of truth and surrounded by a bunch of bullshit.
Right. I mean, obviously, exercise can make you feel great.
Right.
Everyone knows that. I mean, that's just a fact. It's not the solution to all your problems, and nor is violence, and nor is misogyny.
Right.
It's
Hustlers University.
Is that what it was called?
That's what it's called. Yeah.
And that was his online. That's not a YouTube thing, right? That was his own social media platform.
That's his online Hustlers University.
Yes.
So basically, you pay, I don't know, $100 a month or whatever to get,
Is it teaching how to be a player, like around women?
Yeah, I mean, all of the stuff that he talks about, all the bullshit that he talks about, how how he talks, right? I mean, it's like listening to that guy is just fucking,
he talks like a person with a 10 IQ is what he talks like.
Yeah, he's definitely
he is dumb.
He is.
We call Peterson dumb, Jordan Peterson dumb, but Tate is super dumb.
He's a moron. Like
Peterson can form a sentence.
Peterson, well,
I don't mean a great sentence, but he can still form a sentence.
Anymore, I think that's coming into question.
It's asking a lot.
God, if you listen to him now, he's really fucking sunk. But
I haven't heard him recently.
Yeah, but Andrew Tate is an actual fucking moron.
Yeah, he really is. It's so funny too because
his dad was a fucking chess master.
Oh, so his dad wasn't dumb.
No, I mean, I can't say that for sure, but I would assume being a chess master gives you some sort of credibility intellectually.
Yeah. I mean, it absolutely takes a certain amount of brain power to do that.
Yeah.
But did you notice in your research, did you come across Iggy Semmelweis?
Oh, no.
So Iggy Semmelweis is Tate's right-hand man, and his profession is hypnotist. So of course, Tate's right-hand man is a chucklehead, delving into practices that are 100% not scientifically proven or even accurate or usable. Or I guess, this is probably the placebo effect. Apparently hypnotism works on some people in the same way that believing in God works in some people. I guess if you want to believe it, you believe it.
So this is also a serious question. Is hypnotism pure placebo? I feel like you get those people up on stage, you see those parlor tricks where people can cluck like a chicken or whatever. And
I mean, let me ask you a question. If I use any number of verbal cues to get you to cluck like a chicken involuntarily, do you think it would work?
For me, no.
Of course it wouldn't work. Now, apparently, so people use it still in therapy.
You're right.
And that's therapy.
Yeah.
I kind of get that, right? The catharsis meaning to like send you back to your primitive self or your earliest memory. I mean, I can understand why it would be somewhat useful in that arena. But
and even then, I feel like a lot of times that the repressed memory bullshit is bullshit.
If you look at Capturing the Freedmans, right? That's that documentary about that daycare place assaulting children, and there were a few children's testimonies that were recounted.
Satanic Panic, the one down in L.A., or is this the one like in New Mexico or something?
I don't remember. I thought it was L.A. I don't remember the Satanic Panic part of it. But anyway, that was like the beginning. Okay,
because that was where they started talking about there being underground tunnels underneath the place, right?
Is that
I think that's the right one.
Yeah. But you were talking about repressed memories.
Yeah,
basically.
Yeah. And
witness testimony is not necessarily reliable.
No, it's absolutely not. And most of the times, it's not repressed memories; they become implanted memories, because the interlocutor is giving them hints and kind of showing them where they want to go. The cops did that with questioning little kids in that whole fucking thing.
Yeah. Well, and the thing about memory is
yeah.
when you remember something, you're not remembering the memory. You're remembering the last time you remembered it.
Yeah.
So if you, let's say, dredge up a repressed memory, what you're going to be recounting in the future is not the original memory,
but the feeling of the
last
memory.
time you remembered it.
Yeah.
Yes, or the feeling. So it's unreliable, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. And they're finally actually bringing that into court. I mean, the past couple decades, it's really kind of surfaced that way.
Even eyewitness testimony in court's actually being devalued now.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
We saw a Murder on a Sunday Morning, incredible documentary about a young man being accused of murder, and there was an eyewitness in that murder, and this incredible defense attorney got this kid off.
I thought you actually saw a Murder on Sunday
Morning. No, great documentary.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Yeah. No, thankfully I did not see.
That's kind of rough there, Jess.
On a Sunday morning. Yeah. So I had a pretty relaxed Sunday. I mean, so Tate, grifter. So basically, I guess we got to talk about these influencers in terms of the products that they're selling. A lot of these influencers are selling vitamins, protein powders.
What does Tate sell products besides the Hustler's
I don't think so.
You?
No, I think he's mostly selling his own own wares, right? His own.
Yeah.
If you want to be like me,
if you want to be like me, if you want to be
that's
rich
the Tate
and
University, right?
Hustlers University.
Hustlers University. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, in general, though, okay, I'd actually like to just bring up. Sorry, this is a bit of a tangent, but it will make sense. Linus Pauling.
Yeah.
Linus Pauling, American chemist, published more than 1,200 papers and books. He's one of the only people, aside from Marie Curie, that won 2 Nobel Peace Prizes. And, you look up what Pauling did. It's like molecular biology or whatever. I mean, it's stuff I can't even understand. I can't even understand the definition of
Serious science.
Pauling, one of the most respected scientists of his generation and of all time. He's been called one of the most important scientists of the last 100 years. Pauling is responsible for the misinformation about vitamin C.
That's crazy.
So he basically was convinced someone's stood up at one of his lectures and said, "Have you tried mega doses of vitamin C?" And that was it. That got Pauling off on this basically tangent about vitamin C, and Pauling proliferated the myth that vitamin C cures colds. Absolutely does not. No truth to that. Listen to this. International Euromonitor reported the vitamin and supplemental industry topped $23 billion in consumer spending last year.
That's fucking insane.
If you go to Whole Foods, you look at their supposedly supplements and stuff, and none of it's regulated.
No, not
some of it's complete nonsense. Like, you're not even sure that the thing that they say in there is in there. But in general, though, multivitamin. We talked about vitamin D being important, like the sunlight thing.
Yeah.
And as a supplement, but a lot of vitamins aren't doing anything for anybody.
No. And it's all, the fact that it's all unregulated and mostly untested. I think that there are places that do independent testing, but you don't have to.
Right. And the thing about vitamin C is it's so harmless unless you're taking giant doses. It's so harmless that it's so easy to have the placebo effect work, and it doesn't really have a lot of side effects. So therefore it hasn't, no one's concerned about it because it's not killing anybody.
Right.
Really.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, what is it? If you I think it's anything much over 2,500 milligrams, and you get diarrhea, there's potential poop
but I mean,
problems,
Emergen-C, right, is selling lots of money. I mean, they're making huge money on their cold supplement.
Yeah, tons.
So
I don't want to get off on too much of a tangent, but sometime we should talk about homeopathic shit.
Oh, homeopathic medicine?
Oh my God.
It's kind of in the ballpark of what we talk about. Why not?
We should, because that, okay. We should.
It is a tangent. It really is. I'd be
time.
Absolutely interested in studying that. That'd be great.
Well, okay.
So,
okay.
I don't know. You got anything else about Andrew Tate, or is there something you brought it to bring up?
No, I mean, and we've covered, the only thing I'd want to talk about again, and we have covered this in the past, is how he went down is just...
We should talk about it.
No.
So we mentioned that his rape victims had tried to get him prosecuted. It didn't work.
And he ran, right? He ran to Romania.
Yeah. So what happened in Romania, Josh?
I can't remember how it started out.
Well, he
because-
was talking shit to
but-
Greta Thunberg,
but
right?
I can't remember why he was talking shit about her. But he was talking shit about Greta, and she fucking fired back. And he came on in his bathrobe and a cigar, and there were a couple pizza boxes on the table, and the fucking internet sleuths fucking figured out where he was from the pizza boxes, and sent the Romanian police in and fucking arrested him. So that's why he went down.
I mentioned he's got a 10 IQ. Maybe it's 5.
I'd give it 7.5. I'll
Yeah.
split the difference on that one.
So that's pretty. First of all, beating down on a young woman, just like he's off.
I remember what it was.
Yeah, what was it?
She's all about the climate
Yes.
problems and
Yeah.
all that stuff. And he came out and started talking shit about his, 4 Bugattis or whatever the fuck, all of his fucking
Yes.
sports cars and how much gas they were burning and how proud he was of it. And she fired back with something, and he fired back, and then that's when the pizza
Okay.
boxes came into the picture. But yeah, that's what that
So
was.
he basically was just like, I've got this car. I don't give a shit about the environment.
Fuck your environment. Yeah.
It's like Tate. Yeah, I know people like Tate. Right? They're so wounded. They're so
I do wonder,
angry.
did you find out why he became?
I don't know.
Because I really couldn't tell from everything that I read. Like, it didn't seem like he had a bad life.
But
his dad was from England. His mom was, I think, U.S. or maybe Sweden. I can't remember.
I could not get any information about that.
He's just an asshole.
Just when you see bullies, this, like I said, for example, the Vice reporter that was there, Tate let him in this house, right? It's not like he's probably on his guard. He's probably defensive, but like he's casually threatening violence all the time
Yeah.
to just anybody that's in his hemisphere. He didn't say, he basically said, oh, that room's top secret. You go in there, you're going to get a gun pointed at your face. He says to the nice, mild-mannered Vice reporter.
Yeah.
He'll threaten violence just to anybody, just
randomly.
casually, this is the trade I deal in. This is the language I speak.
Yeah.
So I don't know what else there's to say about him.
Not much.
Awful.
Yeah.
Makes
just
P. Diddy look like a great guy.
So, okay. Now, we should go into the dumpster fire got him fucking released from prison in Romania.
Uh-huh.
He landed.
Oh, wait. Trump was responsible for that?
Yeah.
How does Trump have the reach to release a prisoner in Romania?
I don't understand why anybody
that.
listens to that fucking sack of shit.
Yeah.
But so then he goes to Florida, and he's in Florida. Something happens. DeSantis comes out against him.
Against Tate.
And I don't know what happened, but I think that he left after that.
Left the States?
Left the States. He was like, oh, well, I've worn out my welcome here. I'm out. But I don't know where he went to. I do know that he got I think we talked about this, a golden passport to Tuvalu, the island nation.
Right.
So that's probably where he's headed, but I don't know where. I don't know where he's at right now.
So DeSantis is actually capable of having a thought that's not completely horrible.
Well, I don't think that's the defining characteristic of his thoughts.
I don't know. I'd be curious to hear what DeSantis
I would
said
like
about
to.
it.
I would like to. I should have gotten more into that, but yeah, I don't know why DeSantis came out against him. I think there was a pretty big fucking uproar because why are you allowing these fucking violent immigrants in?
Right. This is a complete tangent, but I wanted to let you know that someone commented on our Curtis Yarvin video.
No way.
And said that most of the things we said were inaccurate and just do better research. So I did encourage him to phone us with his revisions.
Oh, tell me.
Please, yeah, absolutely. If we got something wrong, we want you to call us.
I mean, everything I've heard is like all the stuff that's come out since then has backed us up.
Sure.
But oh my God.
Just a person on the internet. So, yeah.
Was that it? We were wrong?
Yeah, we were just, 80% of the things we said were wrong.
Oh, so that's hilarious. Okay.
Be interested to hear.
Yeah.
If you have some bullets,
bring it.
Please call. So I didn't mean to distract you.
And in fact, I would have the conversation live if that,
100%.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh no, we'll find a way to get you Skyped in or something.
Yeah, somehow.
No, if you want to talk about this stuff,
oh yeah, absolutely.
we can do it on the air. Absolutely. So that was Tate. Okay, fine, Tate. What about Huberman? Huberman he's not a biologist, he's a neuroscientist.
Neuroscientist.
I believe Stanford.
Yeah.
From Stanford. Has the physique of like a liver king.
He's not as jacked, but he's a big guy.
But a pretty big guy.
Yeah, he's a big guy.
Yeah.
The issues. So I have like a lot of issues with him just because he's really done actually some good work, some good science at what he calls the Huberman Lab
Right.
at Stanford.
Right.
And so that's some place where they actually do science.
And that's the name of his, I believe, his video podcast on YouTube as well.
He also named his podcast the Huberman Lab.
Yeah.
And that's where the fucking problem arises. Because
So I noticed he was selling sunglasses.
That's right. I fucking forgot about the sunglasses. Yeah, I mean, he sells whatever he can sell. You know, anything. He will sell fucking anything on there. And that's my problem with him, is because I think he's much more insidious than Tate, because Tate's a dipshit, and the people that like are into it are damaged in their own fucking ways, you know, and they it appeals to them. It's like that movie that I don't know if we talked about it in real level, but Adolescence, the one where the kid it's an English 4-part series where the kid goes to jail for killing his female classmate.
Right.
And they find out that he went down the Tate path, essentially.
Okay.
They don't say Tate by name, but the implication is there.
Right.
And so, you know, whatever kind of thing gets you into that, that's its own thing. But Huberman is fucking insidious because he sells this grifter fucking shit, vitamins, fucking sunglasses.
Yeah, and he's got opinions on everything.
The green.
The
powder,
athletic
greens,
yes,
yeah,
complete
all that
scam.
stuff. It's all a fucking scam, and he's making, I mean, millions of dollars
Yeah.
off of this stuff.
Yeah, and you look at the way these partner programs work, you know, like you mentioned this code, and you'll get so much % off. The people like Huberman make a lot of money on those
So
references.
much fucking money, man.
Yeah, and so I noticed he sold glasses.
Mm-hmm.
He sold powders, various powders
and potions.
And then he has all these opinions on things like alcohol and coffee. And I was watching some videos disproving his pitches about alcohol and coffee. And this is like the Linus Pauling thing. It's like, okay, you're a neuroscientist. Obviously, you're very intelligent. But that tends to get his minions to buy into everything he says, and some of the things he says are bullshit.
And you can say that about Jordan Peterson.
Sure.
Shut the fuck up about anything. Even clinical psychology at this point is out because he's got fucking brain damage. I throw fucking Dawkins in there too, because Dawkins, there's some things he should just shut the fuck up about. He's a brilliant man. And
where did Dawkins stray outside his path? Like where was he like commenting on? Do you remember?
Science outside of his wheelhouse.
So he's a physicist, I think, right?
I think it's a physicist.
But anyway, so did you hear him actually say something that sounded wrong?
Yes.
Okay.
He has said things that are patently wrong, and it could be that he's getting old.
Sure.
Not to
that can
because
affect,
Dawkins and his whole, you know, the God gene and all that stuff. I loved all that stuff.
Yeah.
But he's kind of drifted into this kind of right-wing crank kind of territory and a lot of stuff.
Oh, that's not good.
He starts going off. I mean, he's gotten into the, you know, trans shit. And,
I think part of the problem too is that once you've been that famous,
you start taking yourself seriously.
And like once the fame starts to fade, you know, you kind of tend to want to recapture that, right? To stay in the public discourse,
relevant,
and you start saying things that aren't accurate, right?
Yeah.
Because you have that desperate need for attention still. So
yeah,
but Huberman, some just crazy, just nonsense about like don't drink coffee in the morning, and he has these reasons that sound valid. But I watched a 20-minute video just on this guy discrediting Huberman's comments about caffeine in the morning. It's like, well, I mean, A plus B equals this, and plus that equals that, but this correlation doesn't lead to that.
Yeah.
So, not dumb, just not necessarily accurate.
Not accurate.
And
just so far up your own ass that you fucking you believe it, and then you sell something to replace it.
Yes.
He sells those mushroom fucking drinks too, doesn't
I
he?
think so. I swear to God, I've said this before. No one loves telling you about nutrition more than rich white people. We follow the chef on YouTube. We like him a lot. Big fan of his, but he's selling the same just kind of nonsense powders that a lot of these people are selling.
Yeah.
And it's, I guess once you really reach a certain level of wealth and comfort, you start to obsess over things like the vitamins that you're taking. Because you're fucking bored, or you've like, to quote Maslow again, you've kind of like all those other things are taken care of.
Yeah.
Now you start to focus on other things. So.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, we came into being eating, sucking the marrow out of fucking dead carcasses on the Serengeti.
Right.
So our digestive systems can put up with a lot of abuse. So
that's a whole other level.
Right. So this whole idea of like fucking, well, you need fucking, Athletic Greens. Although if Athletic Greens is listening, give us a call.
I'm sure we could tout any number of nonsense and nostrums and panacea.
Yeah.
If we wanted to.
Yeah,
we wanted to make some money.
Right. But so I like so much of this diet stuff. And that's not to say that there aren't actual dietary issues that people have. I mean, I don't want to,
Of course.
But overall, we can deal with a lot of fucking bullshit in our system.
Oh, yes.
And the way that we eat now is nothing like that. I mean, even if you're eating shitty fucking fast food every day, it's still better than what we would have had most of the time in the past.
It's not poisoned with trichinosis, right?
Right.
I mean, it's not great for you.
It's not great, but
it doesn't have salmonella.
Yeah, it's not going to fucking eat any number of fucking horrible things.
So I like I said, I was expecting just to be disgusted by Huberman. It's more a matter of just he's a grifter.
He's a grifter, and it's so hard. Like the hardest part about it is kind of sifting through his bullshit and actually finding the kernel of truth.
Which there are,
because he's a scientist.
You can't discredit everything he says. Yeah, absolutely.
But he also has dumbasses on. Like I just God.
Yeah, and all these guys, by the way, people like Huberman became famous because they went on Joe Rogan.
Huh.
I think that catapulted Huberman into another level of fame and profit. Rogan has harbored and given comfort to lots of whack jobs.
Rogan's almost as bad as Oprah.
Yeah, Oprah had on Dr. Oz. Remember that?
Dr. Oz, Dr. Phil,
Yeah.
John of God.
Just
She gave away all those fucking BMWs and made all those fucking poor saps pay tax.
yeah. Oprah had on J.D. McCarthy talking about vaccines leading to autism.
Yep.
So Oprah has been a proliferator of misinformation
She's
her entire career.
a net negative, I'd say.
Yes.
I would say, because some of like John of God, I can't believe that she had that motherfucker on there.
John of God?
Check him out.
Okay.
That's something we can go into
Okay.
another time.
Okay.
But yeah, like he absolute grifter.
Did you have any bullets about Huberman that you found interesting?
No,
or any notes?
I think we've pretty much covered it. There's
Yeah.
it's really hard because you'd have to do a few hours. I mean, each of his shows is like 3.5 hours
Yeah.
long. It's fucking amazing how prolific.
And I
this
watched
guy
some
is.
of it, and it's
Yeah.
reasonable. He's not a moron.
He comes across as being a completely reasonable person, but
Yes.
it's a fucking grift.
That's the hard part. Is like you listen to him speak, and it's reasonable and intelligent.
Yeah.
Which of course gets people to buy into all the nonsense.
Yeah.
Right. He has that. He is credible and intelligent. So that really does color everything he sells.
Yeah. Yeah, that is the hard. That's why I think that he's worse than Tate, just because.
Oh yes.
It's just so insidious, and he's knowingly doing it. And I say that because of the Huberman Lab thing,
Right.
and that's where I really have a problem.
Well, that has the patina of science.
Right, and it also gives it the sheen of being presented by Stanford.
Which is not
But
in
it's
any way
fucking not.
endorsed by Stanford.
Yeah, and that's where I think it's really insidious. So that's my bag on that fucker.
That's Andrew Huberman. Now we've also decided to talk about the Liver King. So I read a bunch of stuff about the Liver King, watched a bunch of videos. Did you say you watched the Liver King documentary on Netflix? What was your impression of that?
Are you going to watch it? Probably not. It's pretty hard. It's like,
it doesn't sound like a fun watch.
It's interesting because you see him presenting, you see him at his house, you see him with his wife and his kids and how they interact, and it's very staged, right? You can see that he is presenting something to the documentarians because he got busted.
So real quick, Liver King, this huge ripped dude who is he was taking steroids, you said.
So he started, I think it was 2016, he started kind of this personality because his name is Brian Johnson.
Yeah.
But he started the Liver King personality like 2016, something like that, I think. And, he was big, but he wasn't like he is now.
No.
So I think that once he started the Liver King thing and he kind of figured out his shtick, he really leaned into it and realized that he could make a lot more money if he was fucking jacked. And he is fucking jacked.
Yeah, he's huge.
And he's short, I mean, like, cause when you see a lot of the stuff, like he's bullied as a kid. And I mean, and again, I don't know how bad it all really was because he only presents information to you that he really wants you to know. I think that he under reports things or maybe over reports things to kind of get you to feel about him in a certain way. He's definitely an actor. You can see it. But so I think that he started doing it. I think he started doing was it
HGH?
It was OmniPro.
Okay.
I think was the name of it. Completely synthetic HGH. Yeah, I think it's HGH.
A growth hormone.
Yeah, it's a human growth hormone.
Basically like steroids.
Yeah. And
but so while he's doing these growth hormones, he's saying that he's using these supplements.
What he's promoting
Yeah.
is the the ancestral lifestyle. So that's where he's like eating testicles and liver
testicles.
and almost all of it's raw.
Uh-huh.
Right? Like almost all of it's fucking raw.
And let me just point out that eating raw food can be really dangerous.
Oh, yeah.
Eating raw vegetables can get you bacteria and E. coli. I mean,
and that's
if you don't know where they came from.
Right. And I mean, anything that has E. coli is because shit got on it. Right. That's how that happens.
Yeah.
So it's like runoff or something got onto the vegetables and whatever. But anyway, the thing is, so I think that he started out with that. He's like, I can make a lot of money if I fucking get really jacked. I'm not going to get jacked like I want to doing this. So I'm going to start doing the HGH
or
whatever
stuff like
it is.
that.
The steroids. And so that, he was presenting it. Everybody was like, the only person I will say, and this makes a lot of sense actually. The only person who was like, he's juicing was Rogan.
Oh, Rogan could tell.
Oh, dude, if you're a fucking weightlifter, if you're somebody who actually is in the biz, some sort of strength thing, and Rogan is, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's like a really strong,
absolutely,
martial artist.
Yes.
So and I knew it too, right? But I'm a dumbass. But
just from the look.
I mean, there's a certain vascularity.
Well, there's the veins.
That's it. That's the real
plumpness. There's back knee too. People get acne all over their back. That's one of the
things. Yeah.
The signs,
But so he was the only one that like called him out. Everybody's just all, you're natural. And there's all these people like, I don't know if he's natural. Yeah. And then somebody dropped a whole bunch. This is, I think, 2022. Somebody dropped a whole email thread where he was talking to a personal trainer about how much he was doing. He's doing $11,000 worth of steroids a month.
Damn.
A month.
That's crazy.
He was juicing 3 times a day.
Wow.
It's like, but really the horrible thing about it is he was telling all these people that it was natural and you can achieve this body too if you just follow my fucking 9 natural tenets.
So the Chinese, right? The Chinese will sell medicines for impotence.
Right.
It's got deer penis or whatever it has in it.
Tiger
like bull
penis.
testicles,
or
right?
fucking tiger penis or fucking rhino horn. Those
It may or may not have any of that. It might just be dried up rice.
sure.
But they're selling it. And then what I was reading was some of the companies were actually putting Viagra in these homeopathic remedies. So it's the same effect, right? Not only does it not work, but you've pretended that it doesn't work by adding the actual medicines in there
Yeah.
that do work.
That do work.
It's giving credibility to your nonsense. So, right, Liver King is telling his minions, if you just do this, you'll get as ripped to me. It's all fantasy.
Yeah. And so he's selling supplements because not everybody can eat fucking raw liver and testicles all the time. And so he's
Occasionally I'll eat some raw testicles, but
so
what amount of money would it take for someone to offer you raw testicles and have you eat them? I know it's an odd question.
well, see, for me, man, that's a rough one. See, because like I'll eat pretty much anything like twice. That's my
You've
that's
eaten
my
some exotic, and you and I have gone to dinners where you've got me to eat things that were outside of my comfort zone that were pretty good.
Yeah.
So I didn't regret it. But
yeah.
But anyway,
but raw nuts.
yeah,
I don't know.
delicious.
Man. If it was sliced thin enough.
Okay, all right. I'm sorry I even asked the question.
If it was sliced thin
Okay.
enough, we're both in here
All right.
crossing our legs right now.
Yuck. Okay. I'm good.
Yeah, I don't know.
So did you come away from the Liver King documentary feeling sympathy for him at all, or was it just fuck this guy?
There was points, and it's because it's a documentary, they're kind of playing with your emotions on how you feel about him. And there was a point when they were talking about when he was a kid, getting bullied and stuff like that.
Yes.
You're like, man, that's fucked up, and he's crying and whatever. But he's trying to manipulate people into feeling sorry for him, saying, okay, well, he made a mistake, but I guess he's coming
I've
clean.
had a rough life.
Yeah.
Therefore, my mistake was not warranted, but understandable.
But then then they show clips of his publicity company. They show clips of his ex-CEO, and they're like, fuck that guy. Anything he's telling you right now is to manipulate you.
Right.
And I was like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. I don't feel sorry for him. I hope that he doesn't make money on this anymore.
Yeah.
I think he's a pure grifter. And I think that he'll end up being fine, because I still think that he's making, if not, millions of dollars, he's making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year on his supplements. I mean,
He's still making that much?
I think so.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, he's a fucking lunatic, man.
It's funny because these videos on YouTube, there's like 100 videos called "The Fall of the Liver King."
Yeah,
Well,
right.
if he's making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, that's not really a fall.
Well,
I guess-
biggest thing that happened is that he lost all of his repeat customers, because people would sign up on a subscription and they
Right.
would get their supplements and powders and whatever. They'd have them sent every month.
Yeah.
So what happened is when he got popped out and everybody fucking was like, fuck you. Even Jake Paul was like, fuck you. You lied to me, right? And
you're on the
that's
wrong
kinda
side of something if Jake Paul doesn't
Jake
like you.
fucking Paul.
Yeah.
But I think that he's probably in the process of rebuilding his brand. I think that there are a lot of people that will look at that documentary and come away thinking he's repented, he's doing good things. And what he says, there's a kernel of fucking truth. Work out, hang out with your family, touch grass. Like, all those things are fucking completely appropriate
Right.
and true.
Yes.
But he fucked it up by saying, you can be as jacked as I am. You
Yeah.
can get the results that I have by just doing this. And it's all a fucking lie. And that's my problem with all these influencers, fucking influencers. I hate even having to say that goddamn word.
Yeah. It's an awful
They-
term.
oh, fuck.
An awful industry.
It's an awful
certainly.
industry. Yeah.
My the bass player in my band, I can't remember if I mentioned this to you, but very intelligent daughter. She's about 16. Clearly just way ahead of her time. Very smart. And he said that she was looking at like videos of skinny Asian girls on TikTok and stuff. And so even this young woman who's really bright and worldly and just a very impressive person is being influenced by the diet industry and by the diet industry and the way it's damaged women over the last several decades. It's just terrible. It's awful.
And I have to say, I mean, that was the whole reason why I suggested doing this topic, is because it's not just past decades for women. It's hundreds of years for women.
Yes, of course.
Right? It's at least hundreds of years
Yes.
that we know of in these body ideals, feminine ideals, and it's been horrible for women in their mental health.
Yes.
And in the past 2.5 decades, because I think that it really kind of started happening before the internet, but once
Sure.
the internet kicked in, so the past 15 years, it's really been kicking up a gear for boys. And
Yes.
and it's giving them the same fucking issues. And I'm sure that there's a whole segment of business out there that has realized, okay, well, we've made women feel bad and we've sold them a bunch of shit. Why not men?
We're only selling to half the gender.
We're missing out on 50% of the fucking market.
Yeah, my son the other day said, "Yeah, I need bigger calves." Like, why? Do you remember Kenny Banya says to Jerry Seinfeld,
I'm huge.
You should lift weights. And Jerry goes, why? And Banya doesn't even have an answer for that.
Well, his whole thing is, I've gone from a 42 to a 44. I'm huge.
Yeah, I'm huge. You want this Armani suit?
Yeah, but so the thing like that I think about, like, men, not men, because I don't, it affects older guys too, but young men coming up have this body dysmorphia
Yeah.
that wasn't present before, and it's because of this fucking influencer,
Yeah.
fucking grifter bullshit. And if they were just fucking honest, because I think that there are probably a few influencers out there that are not juicing, not photoshopping, but I think that is a diminishingly small portion of the people that are doing it for the internet.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So
Yeah,
it's really fucking it's rough, and I hate to see it.
yeah, you're right. I mean, this
They coming for us?
Yeah, the
found
police are right above my house right now. I hope you guys don't hear that helicopter. But yeah, I mean, like, the way that women have been manipulated and young women have been sold a bill of goods about diets. Yes, now it really is affecting young men too.
They're taking advantage of it, and they're marketing it, and
it's working.
The supplements company are fucking just pushing that shit.
Yeah.
And that's what, Athletic Greens is on that fucking list.
Yes.
All the fucking pills and protein powders and shit. All
Yes.
that stuff is on
You
the
people
list.
throw out all your nonsense. Just take all those powders, put them in the garbage, and eat fruit and vegetables.
Yeah. And
Eat healthy food.
eat healthy.
That's the answer. And
Yeah.
grow it yourself if you can. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. That's a fucking it's hard. It again. Shut the fucking internet down.
yeah, it's clearly now a force of evil. Whatever it was before.
It was cool as shit before. Now it's just turned
yeah.
into a goddamn nightmare.
Yeah, it is. It is a nightmare. People really do trust internet websites the way they used to trust Walter Cronkite, right? People
Right.
used to trust their newsmen and news people, and now that's how they look at the internet. They have no mechanism for vetting a website. It's like you can just go to Snopes, type in certain kind of urban myth, and it's going to prove it or disprove it.
Yeah.
And yet people can't even, they're not even able to do that.
No,
They see a site that's called, medicine, like it'll be some kind of doctor adjacent title or something, and they don't have any urge to like dig in deeper to see who owns it, like a supplement company
Right.
or whatever.
Right.
It just looks real and authentic, and you can just do people with that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So
fucking
it's insidious.
it's really bad.
All right, so you bummed out yet?
Oh fuck, here we go.
You said enough about these assholes?
For today.
I do have an asshole of the week.
Oh man, here we go.
Asshole of the week.
We didn't really do this last season, but except for like one episode, but I had to mention this guy. The Mice Pillow CEO, Mike Lindell.
Oh, fucking Mike Lindell,
He
dude.
says Satan rigged voting machines in 2020. I got to tell you a little bit about Mike Lindell. Everyone knows this is the idiot that was the MyPillow CEO, who's actually involved in lawsuits from these voting machines because he said that they were rigged and they were, not.
Oh, yeah.
So more than one voting machine company, like for example Dominion, is suing him for slander because he says He says he thinks Satan was behind the computer algorithm that was controlling the 2020 election. And when you say who's behind it all, it's Satan. There's just one. This is a nation that turned its back on God.
This fucking guy.
First of all, how did the nation turn their back on God? This is a more extremist Christian nation than it's been probably ever.
Ever.
But, that's what he says is turning their back on God.
Yeah.
God has never been ever more present in our politics and our politicians.
Yeah, it's fucking insane. He's such a crazy guy. So do you remember he did the
You're gonna close the window?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. Sorry, fans. Sorry about the helicopter.
He did he had a whole convention based on he was going to prove
A political convention?
No, that he was going to prove that the voting systems were hacked. And do you remember this? Do you remember
A little bit. It sounds familiar, yes.
And he actually, as he was going through the information, on the screen, he had computer people there. He was breaking it all down. He basically proved himself wrong.
So he was going to investigate this.
He was investigating.
And in investigating, he proved himself wrong.
Live investigation.
Nice.
And you do know he was a crack addict.
No, was he really?
Oh yeah. So that's part of his lore and story is that he was a fucking crack addict hitting the pipe, and he realized he found God, and then started the pillow company. And he really did come up from just being a straight fucking street crack addict to worth millions of dollars, and has lost all of it.
Has he?
I mean, yes. I mean, I think he still has some.
Right.
But he's like just giving his pillows. If he wasn't such a piece of shit, I'd feel sorry for him.
He and I might agree on one thing. He's been an outspoken advocate of returning to paper ballots.
Oh yeah,
I reiterated his belief on Monday that blaming computers for being too vulnerable, having too many backdoors. Oh yes,
I absolutely
paper
agree
ballots.
with that.
Let's return to paper ballots.
Absolutely. No, that's a clock in reverse is right once in a while.
I really did have a fantasy 10, 20 years ago that a hacker would hack a presidential election so that Satan wins, just to completely discredit our voting systems and return them back to paper.
And get it back to paper.
So that hasn't happened yet.
I think, I don't know if Sonoma County is all paper or whatever, but every time I voted, it's been paper.
I think it is,
I've never
isn't it?
done.
I think it's paper, yeah. Yeah, so I'm glad for that.
Me too.
Lest you think I wasn't going to inject some socialist rant into my quotation quarter, I do have a quick quote here.
Fucking commie.
If a man has an apartment stacked to the ceiling with newspapers, we call him crazy. If a woman has a trailer full of cats, we call her nuts. But when people pathologically hoard so much cash that they impoverish the entire nation, we put them on the cover of Fortune magazine and pretend they're role models.
Who's this?
That's Lester Pearson, who I know nothing about, but that is an incredible quote.
Yep, that's good
right.
stuff.
Hoarding cats and newspapers, you're crazy. Hoarding money
wealth.
To the point where people are suffering, completely normal and admirable.
Yeah, psychopaths.
So, yeah. I don't know what else there is to say about that.
I think we're there.
Should we toast to bad dads?
Bad dads and all they've taught us.
Thanks for tuning in for episode 1, season 3. There'll be more episodes coming up. Got an episode in a couple of weeks, and then we'll probably be back to weekly after that.
And Curtis Yarvin guy, give us a call.
Yeah, Curtis Yarvin guy. Call us, brother.
Yeah.
Numbers in the show notes.
All right.
See you next time.
Rock on. You have been listening to The Trivial Man. If you'd like to get a hold of us, you can either call us at 415-484-8841 or send us an email at thetriviumpod@gmail.com.